Hi, my name is Jen, and today I wanted to share rules numbers 5 and 6 out of my 12 rules to live a better life. My rule number 5 is study philosophy. And philosophy is the love of wisdom. I think that doing philosophy is the attempt to gain wisdom. And I think that this is really important to develop your mind, to gain wisdom, and to learn critical thinking. And this benefits you because it narrows down all of the options. There's lots of arguments and people say lots of things. And learning and studying philosophy can really help you to kind of narrow down all of the crap. And logic really just helps to kind of declutter all of the arguments. Once you start to learn about logic and the logical fallacies, a lot of arguments are kind of eliminated right away. I think that this benefits society as well, in that once you are able to have better arguments and understand and evaluate arguments much better, you are able to make better decisions, and I think that's good for everyone. As I have studied philosophy, two of the things that have really benefited my life are logical fallacies and skepticism. As I look back on my life, I have just seen that studying logical fallacies and learning to identify and evaluate arguments and things using those logical fallacies, and then also studying skepticism and trying to be more skeptical, that has really, really helped me in numerous areas. I've just seen such an improvement and change in myself, and it's really just helped me to think better and make better decisions, and that's given me so much more happiness and peace, and it's just been wonderful. So some ways that you can study philosophy: you can take a class or study as a major or in a doctoral program philosophy. I think that's super great. We need lots of people studying this, and I think that any chance you get to study in a class setting, I think, is just really helpful. You get lots of other perspectives. Homework assignments can be really helpful, and it's a little bit more in-depth and interactive. So I really, really love taking classes, and I definitely recommend that. High school classes are great. College classes, of course, are really great. If you can take any evening classes, that's great. I also like, kind of having more interactive involvement. You can join a philosophy discussion group. I've seen a few on meetups, so that may be a place to check. But I think that these are really great. You get just a lot of different perspectives and viewpoints, and I think that's really helpful and enlightening. Another great thing you can do is read some books. These are some of the recommendations that I have, and I'll have the links to all of these included in the description box below. The first book is a fiction book. This is called Sophie's World, and it's a really, really great book to learn the history of philosophy. It goes over a lot of the major thinkers, their kind of philosophical arguments or theories, and it's just a wonderful read. So especially if you're kind of new to philosophy, this is a great kind of introductory book to read. The next book is What is Philosophy? And I really like this because this is just a wonderful kind of introductory book that is just very well written and laid out. Here is a section on Socrates, so you can read through. It's just a couple of pages, so it's a really nice kind of introductory thing. If you only have a little bit of time, this is something that, you know, with 5 or 10 minutes, you can learn a couple of things and work your way through kind of at your own pace. And I just think that's really great. There's pictures, there's other little excerpts and concepts in here, and so I think that just really helps, because sometimes philosophy can be a little intimidating and heavy, and so it really helps to just have things laid out in a really nice kind of bite-sized manner. And so I definitely recommend this. Another kind of introductory, but a little bit more in-depth method would be reading a book like this, Philosophy 100 Essential Thinkers. This is really great, focusing just on the thinkers. You can go through and just read one a day, or if you want to read more than one, that's perfectly fine. You can kind of pace yourself however fast or slow you want to go. And each thinker has just 2 pages, a picture, and then just 1 page of text or information. And so it's very, very easily digestible, I suppose. You can really go through and learn something and become familiar with the person and their ideas, their concepts, their theories, but it's not too overwhelming or anything. So I think that something like this is really, really helpful. Also, if you would really like to go a bit more in depth, but maybe you don't have enough money or time to take a class, I recommend this textbook. This is my husband's textbook that he had in college when he majored in philosophy. We've actually both gotten rid of a lot of our textbooks just because we don't really use them and they take up a lot of space and we move a lot. So we don't keep a lot of our textbooks, but this is one that he's definitely held on to for a number of years now. And he just really loves it. It's very well laid out. The exercises are really good. If you're interested in learning a bit more, this is a great way to study it a little bit more in depth and have some exercises and other things like that. Finally, you can also watch videos. I'll leave the links down below to some of my favorite YouTube channels that cover logic or logical fallacies or kind of logic topics. So that way you have a place to start at least. And I think those are just really great because they're very concise, kind of digestible topics in a video, and you can watch those or listen to those while you're doing something else like the dishes or something like that. So I really appreciate that as well, just functionally. So those are my thoughts and recommendations for applying rule number 5. Rule number 6 is to search for truth, and I think that this is really, really important. It is very similar to rule number 5, but I think that this is the constant application of rule number 5, and I think it's really important to specify because I think that each person should really search for truth in everything. When I think of philosophy, I sometimes think of like the bigger kind of questions and issues and stuff, and I really want to just stress and kind of emphasize that we should really be searching for truth in everything, in the small things as well as the big things. I think you should search for truth in small areas like your personal truth, and as well as the big areas like, you know, political truth or existential truth. And I have an example of a couple of those things from my own life. One kind of personal truth that I've kind of struggled with throughout my life is I'm very much of like a girly girl. I'm sure you can't tell, but I have always wanted to be a mom, and right now I'm a stay-at-home mom. And while I absolutely love it and I'm so happy, I've kind of struggled with accepting that part of myself because I feel like I'm not pushing myself like other people think that I'm not pushing myself enough. I feel like other people think that it's not a worthwhile pursuit and like I'm wasting my time or I'm not being the best that I could be for myself or my children. And I've just really found kind of throughout my life's journey that I've always wanted to be a mom, and I love being a mom. And I really think that there's a lot of wonderful, good, positive things that can come about from me being a stay-at-home mom. So I definitely think that it's great if you're a working mom, and there's some wonderful benefits from that, but I think there's also some wonderful benefits from being a stay-at-home mom, and I really want to make sure that I'm being the best person that I can be, and part of that is being true to who I am. And who I am, I really believe that being a stay-at-home mom is a good and valuable thing for me and my family. And so that's what I'm doing. And then, of course, as I've studied philosophy, as I've really searched for truth, I have changed my views on different political topics and views, and kind of some of the even bigger questions in life. I've also learned and grown a lot, and so it definitely really helps to really search for truth in kind of the smaller areas, but also the bigger ones as well. I also really like this rule because it encourages me, to put the work into really thinking critically, carefully, and not just accepting what somebody else tells you or tells me. And I've really found that that's really been a game changer in my life as I've begun to study and to learn and to think more for myself. I've actually been empowered. I've just cleared out a lot of bad info so I can make decisions a lot better and quicker. And I also have more meaning in my life. The things that I do for a reason. I've really thought them out, and I've chosen to do these things. And so rather than just kind of going through life, just getting through, I'm purposefully living. And that's made life so much more enjoyable and meaningful for me. So I definitely, I'm very passionate about these two rules. I'll have rules 7 and 8 up next week. And I hope that you subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it and you want to see more. And please leave me a comment letting me know what you think about this. I hope you have a great day. Bye.